It's showtime. It is Barbara and friends with the morning cup. Toast to the morning to you. I've got my little boost here. I am so excited about today. We have three guests that are talking about making money moves in very, very different ways. We're talking opening an online store and just in time for the holidays for passive income and or major income. We're talking speaking and getting paid to speak. Yes, it's possible. And I'm pretty sure, at least Mario will tell us, I don't think you have to go to school to learn how to be a speaker and get paid to do so, especially us over 40, 50, 60 plus, because think about the experience. And then lastly, we're going to be talking to Jessi Burg, and we're going to be talking about, listen, we have to talk budgets and forecasting and all those things that we had to do in corporate America. Hello. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. All of this is to tease the idea that all three of these women are leading very long sessions at Biz LifeCon. So let's get this party started. Welcome to the Morning Cup. Angie,
Yay.
Hello, my dear.
Hi.
How are you doing this morning?
So good. Got my smoothie, my nasty smoothie. Nasty looking. It's not nasty. It just looks not nasty. No.
I said mine was a boost, but it's actually Slim Fast. It seems I've gained a few more pounds back. Listen, I love your new place. I know you just moved. You're in Westminster, Colorado.
Yeah.
You are a fractional and COO.
Yeah.
Yes. And you, by the way, if people don't know, have been very helpful behind the scenes with helping me at Second Act Women with website, with membership, with Member Press, which is the platform we utilize. That right, which leads into the idea that you help businesses craft and create their own online stores. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did that get started? And what do you do? What is a fractional?
Yeah. I mean, so how I got started, I started my career shockingly at Target Corporation, working in their buying offices. And that was
all the process.
Yeah.
You know, I love the Red Circle Boutique.
I know. It's still, I still love it to this day. And everybody that works there is equally obsessed with it. That's what makes it so special. Yeah, it's amazing. So I started off in the buying offices there, and we're of an age that was when Target.com was just getting off the ground. So it had just, they barely had any visitors. They barely had any sales. E-commerce was just beginning. And so since then, I've worked for vendors of Target. I've worked for other, retailers that either had an e-commerce component or it was like their sole focus was selling online. So, I've had a few years in the biz doing that. And basically my role was always in this kind of operations capacity. So operations under e-commerce. And so I've taken all of that, that wealth of knowledge, that wealth of experience, and have now focused on doing that for women entrepreneurs that are kind of, they're at this, they've been doing it for a while. They've got a successful business, but it's probably not doing what they want it to fully. So they're not making the money that they want. They're not, they're working way more than they want to still. And so it just hasn't, they feel proud of what they've built. They've built something freaking awesome. It just hasn't fully formed in all the ways that they wanted it to. And so we use e-commerce as a way, or an online store as a way, to add a revenue channel to what they're already doing. And so that they and not add more time, right? Like they're not creating a new product. They don't have to maintain it. It's a fully automated thing for them. They just have to let people know about it.
Okay. I'm having a squirrel moment. You do not know this, but the picture behind you looks phallic.
Oh, it does? Wait, I'm getting the arm here.
Yes. I'm so sorry. Oh my Lord! I think it's a signal.
Oh, which direction?
Yes, do that.
And there's another one right there.
Oh my God! Oh, if you're just joining us, I just binder that is a shape of something. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Not what
So
we
anyway.
expected today. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, good morning. I have been single for too long, people. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, yeah, but I do love the picture and its colors. What are some of the major problems? Oh my God.
That's a wrap. Where can we go from here?
What are some of the major? I'm so sorry. What are some of the major problems that you've seen people come across when they open their store, and that's that where they're not making the revenue that they deserve, and whether it's a product or a service? Tell us, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that's really what we focus on is
My lashes are about to come off from laughing so hard. Okay.
So yeah, we really focus because we know these women are at a point, they don't have a whole lot more to give, right? Like they've given so much already. So we're not about let's make something new. It's really about taking what they've already built, repackaging it, reimagining it, repurposing it in an online space. And so it's actually relative. I mean, it's not obvious always to the, to the founder, to the owner of the company, what it could look like. But there are so many things that you can do to, so many things that you can draw out of your existing business or the things that you've already built to put in an online space. So like Second Act Women, I love this example that you guys have the t-shirts and the printables that you give to all of the members, but there are people that aren't members that still want to utilize those things or want to gift them, or they're great, right? And so you created an online store that people who weren't members could purchase those things from. And that's just a great example, I think, of what you can take. And you're in a service-based business, but you do have products that support that business. Other things that people have done, I mean, courses and things like that are kind of, they're running their course a little bit. I mean, I hate to use that word again, but they have definitely seen, they peaked and are, now trying to kind of figure themselves out after the pandemic. Like, where do they live? How do they live? But those are, you have so much knowledge, so much information, and everybody has in their business a process that they can package up and share with other people.
Well, and what if somebody feels like they have something they want to sell online? What would be your advice?
I mean, I think do it. It's awesome. I mean, why not? If you've already got it, why not? And it's so easy now. So, I mean, 10 years ago, if we were having this conversation, it would be a huge monetary investment, a huge time investment, but you can literally launch a store I have a course that teaches you how to launch it in 5 hours. So you can spend, a day doing that. If you work with somebody, I mean, we build stores for people in under 2 weeks. So and you can really, so you can see the results, or start to reap the benefits of it really, really quickly. And there isn't a huge investment. I mean, you could do it on your own for $30, like $30 a month. It's so it's in reach now. Like I said, 10 years ago, absolutely not, but we're so lucky now.
Are there platforms that you recommend so that if they're doing it themselves from the start, and then once they want to maybe go to the next level, and frankly, then hire someone like you to literally go next level, where would they start?
Yeah, I think Shopify is probably my favorite.
Which one?
It's Shopify. I don't think you have to use Shopify, but what I love about them is they really build it knowing that the people that are using it are not developers. They're not, they're doing this on the side of all of the other awesome things that they're doing. So they're not going to be experts. And so they really build it out for that. They walk you through the setup. Of course, there are ways to, it can be a little overwhelming. In a lot of ways, but you can get started, just put the the nuts and bolts together pretty easily on your own, and then test some things out, see what works. And when you do start to see some revenue, you can take it to the next level and hire somebody. And even hiring somebody now is a lot cheaper than it used to be, because it isn't as complex as it once was.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's been to hire someone that this is their wheelhouse. Once you get to that point, it's so worth it, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can spend time, because we're talking money moves, so that you can spend time generating the revenue and sales, because we have to remember there are two different things: sales and
Mm-hmm.
revenue. Sales
Yeah,
impacts your revenue. And so it's worth it to hire someone like you, again, so that you can focus on that, on continuing to build your business and the
totally.
sales. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
what we really focus on is automating the process, so that once
Automate.
the store
Yeah.
is built, you really don't have to do anything unless you're adding new products, right? There's the
Right.
orders themselves are like, you don't have to touch every customer order that comes in. And so there's that piece of it. But we also have, the insight of what works. So like, I think Jessi will probably talk about this a little bit, or at least this is like a really small component of what she's going to be talking about. But profit margin, shipping costs, packaging, all of that kind of stuff.
Drop shipping.
Totally. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so all of that are ways that you can maximize the store in the long run. But sometimes you just need to get your feet dirty a little bit, your
Yeah.
feet wet, and try some things out on your own. But bring somebody on that knows before you get too big, so that the mistakes aren't, the learnings, we'll just say, are not so great that you can't come back from them. But
Yes.
yeah, it's super cool to see all of this. Yeah, it's super
It's
cool
so
to see it all
it's so
come together.
Yeah, and it's so nice that we live in times where, and I'm not going to talk AI, that's for a whole nother subject, where you can, like you said, literally create an online store within 5 hours by
Yeah,
yourself. And then
by
again,
yourself.
later on down the line, as you're adding more SKUs, as in
Mhm.
product
Yeah.
lines, products to your line, then they, would look to someone like you. Let's leave them with one tip before we bring Jessi on to talk about budgets. And by the way, for those of you that are watching, we want to hear your questions. Angie is going to wait in the green room. All of our guests are, and then she'll be back on after we meet with Jessi Burg about creating budgets, and we're going to meet with Mari as well about becoming a paid speaker, and then we'll bring them all back up to the stage. So, what would be a tip?
Gosh, I mean, build the store easy, like make it easy on yourself, and then focus on the marketing, because I think that's really where you get to shine, and that's really where this thing gets to shine. And then you get to use all of the tools that Mari and Jessi are going to be sharing with you too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that tip. Yes, yes, marketing, and sadly, marketing seems to be the thing. At least in my marketing days in corporate America, to be the first to go.
Yeah.
But it's the department that actually helps to build those revenue and
Mhm.
sales numbers. So
Yeah.
so marketing, marketing, marketing. So I want to thank you. You're going to be back
Yeah.
with
Thank
us.
you.
I'm gonna welcome on Jessi Burg, and we'll see you in a moment.
Okay.
All right, we are talking money moves. So next up is creating budgets for your small business. It's not as difficult as you think, right, Jessi?
No, it is not. Budgets are
So,
great.
right, Jessi, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm the founder of Outgrow Your Garage, and we demystify the business side of business for small business owners who love what they do, started a business, and then very rapidly discovered that they know nothing about the actual running of a business. And there's all these things that are overly complicated, like taxes and budgeting and figuring out things like drop shipping and all these back end
Yes.
logistics. And you're going, oh God, every week I'm burned by something else I didn't know that I needed to know, and now I need to know it right now.
Yes.
Um, so we demystify all of that.
I love that. And you know what? It's true. Once you become a business owner, suddenly you're wearing 1,000,001 hats, and not all of them are your wheelhouse. Obviously, you may be coming from accounting and starting an accounting firm because you worked for one of the big dogs, and next thing you know, you don't know about the marketing side of things or what have you. Or you're coming from marketing from a corporate or PR or whatever it may be, and you don't know. You've built budgets, you've created budgets in corporate America, but now suddenly you not only have to determine what your fees are going to be, so the value of you and yourself and your talents and your experience, but now not only how do I sell myself, but also how do I budget myself so that I can actually hit those revenue goals. So let's talk about the difference between sales and revenue, if you don't mind. I know this is a whole different topic. I mean, not different, but it's it's something I think that people can get mixed up about.
Yeah. So sales are the thing that people are buying, right? This changes over time. What you're selling changes over time. Your products, your services, the way that you operate your business, your pricing, all of that changes over time naturally as your business grows, as the world around us changes. Regardless of the type of business that you have, it's going to change, right? Angie was
Yep.
just talking about how Target adapted to a new world and started selling e-commerce at a time when not very many people were doing that and not very many people were online shopping. Now, that's a huge part of your business, right? For a lot
Yes.
of people. So, when you're thinking about sales, that's really about the fundamental offering of your business. That will change over time. Your revenue is the amount of money that's coming into your business. And that should be going at minimum steadily up at the level of inflation.
Oh, okay. Explain
That's
that.
what you want your revenue to
Interesting.
do, right?
Okay.
So revenue is this is the amount of money I want my business to make, whatever that money is, right? It could be $100,000, it could be $500,000, it could be $10 million, whatever.
And
That
revenue
is
is
the
net. If I
revenue is the straight amount of money that comes in, right? That is just the amount
straight
of money
across
that
the
you make,
board, gross.
straight across the board, right? You sell a online course for $100. It's $100 is your revenue, right?
Got it. Yep. Got it.
That is the amount, right? And then everything gets deducted from that, right? So you sell your online course or you sell your online thing through Shopify, like Angie was talking about, for $100, and then Shopify takes their cut for the listing. I don't know if that's how Shopify works, but there is definitely some sort of credit card fee or something. So there's a little bit that comes out off the top. And then there's the amount that you spent creating that thing, and that comes out, and that comes out, and the next comes out, and the next comes out. And then eventually you end up with your profit. So profit is what
Got
happens
it.
after you take things out. Revenue is where you start. So your revenue should go up on a consistent basis. You want that to be going up. Even if your sales are staying flat, you're selling roughly the same amount of things, you're selling roughly the same number of things, they're the same price, whatever. You want your revenue to be going up all the time. And we're not talking this exponential 10x growth that the venture capital world loves to tout as this is how you business. You have this hockey stick growth. No, the cost of living goes up every year. So you want the revenue in your business to go up every year because that's how you afford cost of living raises for your team. It's how you afford increased materials cost. It's how you afford to give yourself a raise within your business so that you're not losing money because you're staying in the same place.
So, okay, I love the way you expressed all of this. Perfect explanation. A lot of times we start these companies, Jessi, and we don't pay ourselves. Instead, all the money that's coming in, so all the revenue that's coming in is going out, paying for other people like the Angies, like the marketing teams, like the digital marketer, like the accountant to just keep the doors open. Once we hit the revenue goal that we need, and the P&L is now at the point where we can pay ourselves, profit and loss statement is now saying you're making enough profit, you can start paying yourselves. At what point do we decide? How do we decide what our wage should be? Let's just say, how do we decide what our wage should be? Let's just talk to small businesses that don't have teams yet. They may have contractors, but they don't have. So they have 1099s, but not necessarily paid on the payroll?
So I actually really wish I'm not in my house right now. I am actually in Broomfield, Colorado for some different stuff. And I usually live in Western Colorado in a tiny little town south of Grand Junction is where I live
Oh,
in my day-to-day life. And next to my desk in my office at home is my business goals. Here is how I want my business to contribute to the rest of my life. And there are set revenue metrics for what my business needs to do in order for me to get the things out of my business that I want. So at this revenue point, I give myself a raise. At that revenue point, I give my team a raise. At this revenue point, my husband doesn't have to work anymore. At that revenue, so like it goes all the way up until we have hit neither one of us has to work anymore. We have financial independence. We have enough in savings. We have enough in things. We don't have to work. That's part of what I'm trying to do with my business. Am I ever realistically going to stop working? No, I'm not that kind of person. I
right.
like being an entrepreneur. I like starting businesses. I like working with people. So when we think about how much revenue we need to make, how much we want to pay ourselves, it really is about how is your business contributing to your life and meeting the goals you need for your life. Do you want to retire on it? Do you want to put your kids through college on it? Do you want to put your grandkids through college on it? However that operates, do you want to go live on a cruise ship for the next 5 years? Whatever. There
Which
is
is a
really a cruise
thing.
ship where you can do long-term leases, and that's
Yeah,
a thing. If you
that's
want
a
to go
thing.
live on a cruise ship, great. What does your business need to do in terms of revenue for you to take that amount of money out to pay for that goal? So start with your life goals. What do you want?
Life goals. I love it. Start with your life goals. I completely agree is to start with, especially now that we're over 40, 50, 60 plus, we are looking at life differently, which is why so many of us, over 1,220 businesses a day are started by women over 40. And that was pre-COVID. So the great resignation was actually the great push out. And so for some, and so a lot of these women have been pushed out and started their own companies. Some of them left. It was the great resignation. They wanted to be their own boss. But our goals have sort of shifted, I think, for a lot of us. And so has the term success. In terms of how we define success, and it may not be money. We may just want to, our life goal may be creating this business that will create the life I want, but I don't need to be a millionaire. I just need to be able to take my trip to
And
Paris.
one of my favorite women finance statistics is that at some point in their life, something like 80% of women are going to be in charge of their finances. Like just
80% of,
because. And
yes.
genuine in the Pledgette cites this all the time. She's one of my favorite people to talk women finance. And I might be absolutely butchering the statistic because I'm pulling it from my memory of what somebody else says. But most women are going to be in charge of their personal finances, their household finances at some point, just through the simple fact that women live longer than men.
Yep.
So like your
Yeah.
husband dies, and then you need to know how to manage your finances.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so starting your own business is a great way to understand how those budgeting and finance things work, understand how they apply to the rest of your life. And then it doesn't matter what happens in the rest of your life because you have that control. You're not at the whim of somebody else who paid all the bills, which is getting
Yes.
less and less common all the time. But we're still
Yes.
not out of that stage because if you are over 50, you weren't able to open a bank account in your own name when you were born
Yes.
without permission of your father or your husband. You could get denied a
Okay.
bank account.
Jessi, do you know that I can't believe you just mentioned that story, that truth. When I tell this story to some people, sometimes when I'm public speaking, that when my parents got a divorce when I was in the fourth grade. They'd been married for almost 18 years by then, believe it or not. So, but they got a divorce. So she was single and divorced, trying to hang on to their home. And this was like, I don't know, mid 70s. Only because my mother's name is, she didn't have credit cards. Like you just said, couldn't have a bank account, any of that. The 70s, only because her name was Bobby. The other woman on the other side of the teller said, I'm opening this account for you. And my mom got a banking account because her name is Bobby Brooks, and because another woman helped her. But isn't that something that it was less than 50 years ago that we couldn't have a bank
Yeah,
account?
it was
Nuts!
in the 70s.
Nuts! So here's the stat: 94% of women believe they'll be personally responsible for their finances at some point in their lives. Completely.
Thanks, Jen. Having
Completely.
my back as always.
Oh, genuine. Right. It's so crazy, Jen. So what would be a tip before we bring in our next guest to talk about getting paid to speak? What, and then you're going to come back for any questions. What would be a tip that you would have? And a lot of this is going to be shared in your session at BizLifeCon, but let's leave our viewers with a tip that you have for the day about money or budgeting or revenue, whatever it may be.
Yeah, so this is a two-part tip, and one is know your goals, which we
Two-part
already
tip. Love it.
talked
Know
about,
your
right?
goals.
How do we know what we're trying to get to? And then ask for help. There are so many budgeting resources. There are
Preach.
so many downloadable spreadsheet templates to do it. There are so many YouTube videos. So many people want to help women with their finances. So you can find one that teaches in the way that you like to learn, in a way that makes sense to you for your industry, whether that's me, whether that's somebody else, whether that's the Shopify tutorials, whatever. There's so many ways to do it. So dig around, ask for help, find one that works for your learning style.
I love this advice. I will make sure that everybody has your info when I edit the content so that people know where to find you. This has been great advice. I'm going to say goodbye to you just for 10 minutes, and we're going to come back and continue the conversation about making money moves. Thank you so much, Jessi. All right, now next step. How many of you have been wanting to public speak? You're scared of it. You may have imposter. I'm not going to say syndrome because I'm dropping that from my vocabulary, but you may lack your own self-confidence, even though you can do it because you are 40, 50, 60 plus. Or you have the skills, but you don't know where to get started. I'm bringing Mari onto the stage. Hello, Mari.
Good morning.
Top of the morning to you. Let's talk about it because, this subject actually speaks to me and several other women that I have met along the way that are now either have dipped their toes in and are going full force, or both, into speaking and becoming paid speakers, whether it's about life or business or budgeting or revenue or online stores. Let's talk a little bit at first about your background. Who are you, Mari? And I couldn't pronounce your last name because I just forgot I said it right, and then I forgot how to say it.
Almost nobody can do that. It is Geasair for those of you out there who are interested. Calling me Mari or Mari G is just fine because Geasair is hard for folks. No worries. Basically, I am an entrepreneur from my DNA who is on a mission to help other women entrepreneurs. And along the way, this story about our voices and having our voices heard became an obsession for me. I've been a public speaker all of my adult life, and I have been teaching and helping other entrepreneurs with their public speaking for over 20 years, but recently even narrowed down even more. In the last 7 years, that's been an exclusive thing for me. What people may not know is I had a medical thing. I almost lost my voice. And
No.
of it. Yeah, specifically, I almost lost my ability to speak clearly. And that really focused me on there's so many women out there who want to help the world so much. They have so much to give. But we silence our own voices in a million little ways.
Yeah.
We're always pulling our voice back. And the world is a sadder, grayer, less powerful place because of it. And it just turns out that we can learn to own our voice, give our message and gifts even clearer, and make money doing it, because speaking can be a really great money move.
I love it. Speaking money. And how exciting is it when you hit the stage and you've sort of formulated your story as a thought leader, or I like to say thought starter, and you get to deliver this, whether it's inspirational or motivational, or delivering just really great content like the genuines of the world about money, and Jessi and Angie and you about your life story. It's so exciting to impart that knowledge, that education, that information or inspiration, and get paid for it. And so how important is it today, particularly, and let's just say for women in adolescence to to be their own thought starter or thought leader within their business? What does that mean for their business? And
well, it means dollars and cents. So,
dollars and cents. Love it.
There's an organization called Speaker Flow, and they work with a lot of people in the industry. They do a lot of industry monitoring, and they are reporting that the average, they're calling it a thought leader, but I love thought starter.
I stole it from somebody. I stole it from somebody. I stole it from a mentor who said, I actually use the word thought starter because that is my job, is to get people thinking and starting to think in different ways. And so I scrapped it. It's even on my LinkedIn profile.
I love it. Well, the point is, if you're putting those thoughts out there and you are making that conversation happen, the average one-person business is making 128,000 a year, but the average regular one-person business is making 44,000 a year. So we've got almost a tripling or a doubling when you take ownership for starting and leading conversations around your expertise.
Wow.
Right?
That is amazing. Okay, I'm speechless, which is very hard to do. Is to make Barbara Brooks speechless, but wow, that is really great intel. And the idea that, again, with all the wealth of experience and knowledge and education and soft skills that can't be taught, which can come into creating your story, crafting your story, and leading from the stage. That's really great to hear that we can, yes, make that 6 figures doing it. And so is it ever worth it to speak for free?
Well, yes, and it all depends on how you're defining free.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
a few weeks ago, I did a free talk that brought in just under $5,000 in 3 weeks' time in work that was mostly repurposed work.
Wow.
So is that a free talk? I don't know. I had, about 2 hours of additional work to make that 4,000, but what is the lifetime value of a customer then, right? That is a customer that will be with me for years. I mean, I'm quite certain of that based on the relationship so far, right? So it a little bit goes back to what Angie was saying about repurposing, repackaging, finding other ways to take the work you've already done and use it. There are an awful lot of speakers who don't make their biggest dollars and cents from platform fees. They make it from other ways. It's what I call your profit path.
Profit path.
Your profit path.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about this at the conference, right? Just like
Yeah.
we're going to help you figure out what your profit path is. Because for some people, they don't ever want to be a keynoter and go to the big conferences. It doesn't fit for their lifestyle. It doesn't fit their personality. It doesn't feel right, right? For other people, maybe they do want to do that, but there are different ways you can make real money speaking. And it's about finding the one that fits your business. So maybe you are selling products, maybe you are using it as a very effective marketing for spin-off work. There's lots of different ways that you can use using your voice and telling your stories and sharing your knowledge to pull in the dollars and cents so we get over the time trust barrier. You're not spending so much time trying to get the trust of a client. You can do that quickly and move on.
Time trust barrier. I haven't heard that. And this This makes so much sense. Um, and I guess the other question I have is for those people that want to grow their business but have stage fright
Mhm.
or lack of confidence, their own internal lack of confidence. What advice do you give them besides just do it, like a pair of Nike shoes? How do we do that?
A couple things. My first question is, do you have lack of confidence, or have you been told you should have lack of confidence? So let's think about women of our age have been told from the beginning, you need to be this way, you need to be that way, you need to follow this little box. And then we don't feel confident if we don't fit in that box. But is that us?
Or
I'm
is
not
it
going to say
them?
that's always us, right? So one of the questions is to ask, what is the
Or
source
made up
of your,
entirely?
right? Mhm.
Yeah.
What's the source of your lack of confidence is a question I'd invite. The other thing I'd invite you to think about is a birthday or a Christmas morning or a special event when you've got a gift to give. You're not nervous to give the gift. You're excited to give the gift because you believe that what you have is important or and going to be enjoyed. Speaking is always a gift, always. My life is less when other women don't use their voice. So your gift is going to help us all.
Uh, uh, I feel like I always have a mic drop moment every time I'm doing this. That is powerful. And you're so right. And this leads into what I always love to tell people. Speaking of your voice being a gift, is that you are the only one that can tell this story, that's lived this experience. There's only one of you in this world, which, what I love to tell people, makes you a masterpiece. And so we've got to get rid of that inner voice and or letting, as you said, those others tell us, because it's their problem ultimately, that they are pushing their maybe lack of confidence on you. And so I love that you said that speaking is a gift. Well said. Well said. Um, does your work include online presence or in-person events when it comes to speaking? Because you have
Mine
to present
includes both.
differently, I'm guessing. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Mine includes both. And industry wide, most speakers are moving to some kind of mixture. Now, everybody's mixture might be different,
Yeah.
but most speakers are also doing either an online course or something like this. I would consider this speaking. You are speaking every time you do one of these, right? There are a
Yes.
million different ways that we can mix both the online and the in person to bring in revenue, whether that is direct hard dollars, somebody pays you to present. Certainly, people are still paying speakers for Zoom presentations, Zoom webinars, trainings, that kind of thing, as well as in person. Interestingly enough, between 2002, 22, and 23, revenue in both categories has gone up. So speakers are getting paid more for in person and still getting paid more for virtual.
Wow. And you know what? Okay, so I have a win considering I just Western Union hired me to come back and give a Zoom presentation. And they didn't even balk at my price, which is now I'm understanding that we're all starting to get paid more, I should say. What would be a tip before I bring the other ladies back on? What would be a tip? And I love that everybody can catch more of you at Biz LiveCon, but yeah, give us a tip.
I would say, first off, define what your gift is. What is the gift you want to give the world, and who do you want to give it to? That's part A. And then part B is, how can you start using your voice so that other people know that gift is there? Now we'll
Okay.
talk in the conference about how to get that out there. But if you don't know what you're giving and who you're giving it to, it's going to be harder to make the choices of how to build your speaking revenue streams.
And that's something that you work with these women on, is honing in on what is that story, and crafting I'm guessing that story that they're telling from this, from the stage or Zoom or wherever it may be. Is this correct?
Well, at BizLifeCon, we're going to be talking about the structure of your business, 3 choices you need to make to get your business going, to get revenue through speaking. And then if people want to work with me privately, I can help them craft that story. Like you said, you don't need to go to school. Just a short amount of time really working with someone can help you get over the fright, get clear on the message, and get yourself out there getting the paid or getting revenue producing work. I'll say it that way.
This is so exciting. I'm happy that I met you. I met you, I think I want to say a year or so ago at Tara. I am just so excited about having you. And here we are all back. The gang is back together. Ladies, and those of you that are watching, we are taking questions. We will continue for about another 5 minutes or so. So I would love to know if any of you have now that you've heard each other's stories, do you have anything more to add or any thoughts, because you're thought starters, that you would like to impart on those that are watching?
I just want to congratulate Angie for what she's doing and remind everybody out there that if you've got a story, somebody like Angie can help you figure out the product to support that story.
Yes.
And vice versa. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of I was thinking about all of us getting together today and, all doing very different things, but how amazingly they all work together. And one of the things that popped into my head is people are working with Mari and they blow up, right? We all have these hopes and dreams. And I think we know why we want them, right? Like we know what's possible as long as we are willing and able to share our gift, like she was saying. But so what happens, I think maybe it's more of a takeaway for everybody of like what happens when you explode in that way. You take a risk, you embrace everything that you have to give to the world by working with Mari, and then don't bear all of that on your shoulders yourself, right? Like make sure that you've got Jessi or somebody like Jessi in the back, like making sure that life is smooth and good, and all of this abundance that you're inviting into your business is able to move from start to finish smooth and seamlessly for both you and for them.
I love it. Wow. Another mic drop moment. Jessi, do you have anything else you want to add or impart?
I mean, I really love that all 3 of us are on this call because we have such different strengths. And so it really is do you want to be the face of your business? Great. Go talk to Mari. Do you want to have this kind of passive stuff going on that you're not thinking about? You need a little bit of help to get set up. Great. Go talk to Angie. Are you looking for how do I operations? How do I set things up? How do I make plans for the future? Once I figure out what I want and how do I set all those back-end systems, great, that's what I'm here for. And so you really have this neat dream team depending on what you want. And I love that about us. And then also all the other people who are talking at BizLifeCon.
Yes, I completely agree. Wow, that was a great lead in. I do want to invite everybody to BizLifeCon. It is October 20th through the 21st. And our keynote, I am so excited, and we started off with cocktails and conversations the night before, but our keynote the next morning is Julie Kaczynski. She is the co-founder of Wild. They are a women's supplement. I'm actually on their supplements and it's working. Yay. I'm 30 days in, and they're supplements for women over 40. We're talking perimenopause, burnout, menopause, postmenopause, all those things. It is a company that is one of their investors is Serena Williams, Judy Greer, the actress. Google her. You're going to go, oh my God, I know who she is. She's in every major movie as a character actor. She is the co-founder as well. And so I am so excited to have these ladies along with, we have 18 sessions happening all day for 2 days in downtown Denver at the Commons on Champa. And I do want to say thank you to Energize Colorado. They are an amazing organization that was started during COVID. And it's a company that's really helping to boost women, men, and humans who are small business owners and business owners all throughout Colorado through really low interest rate loans. At the beginning there, they were also giving out grants, which we were very lucky to have. So I just want to say thank you to them. And also at the conference, ladies, really fun. My client, because I do have a side gig, a side client, Inner City Health, I help them with their marketing, and they're going to be there providing biometric screenings for free. So you can get your BMI checked, your blood checks, your kidney checked, all of those things for free at BizLifeCon. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. I was writing down ideas that I definitely, I know Jen Ewan's going to love this idea. I'm thinking we need to do a money conference. I think it's all too important because a lot of us women, again, of all ages, when we start our companies, don't think about the revenue. We just start and we hit the ground running. And a lot of times, we're winning, we're making the revenue, but are we taking a step back to have those CEO days to really grab a hold of where's this company going and how can I make and create a sustainable company? So Jen Ewan's going to love that idea. It just came to me as we're talking. And I want to thank you guys for joining me on the Morning Cut. I will see you guys in a few weeks. I'm seeing you Saturday because of Angie, because it's my 57th on Ageism Awareness Day on Saturday. So have a blessed day, everyone, and enjoy your own morning cup.
Yay.